Hey everyone. As we've seen recently in some debates on the Modern Day Debates channel, we've had some controversial Muslims who have been talking about child marriage in Islam. Now, the most controversial was Daniel Haqiqatjou, essentially saying that child marriage was not only justified for Muhammad, but is a wonderful, brilliant institution that should be established over the entire world to take care of all those frustrated children. Now, Kenny Boma was the other debater in the recent debate, and he took a more moderate position. Basically, he said that child marriage is okay for Muhammad, but it didn't really happen at the same time because all the hadiths were fabricated. So he's adopting this kind of two-faced position on it. Now, Saajid Lipham, he's going to come here to clear it all up.
Today, I'd like to make a public service announcement to the non-Muslims who may have been given a false impression of Islam. I actually come from a non-Muslim background. I have non-Muslim family members. I live in America. I'm surrounded by non-Muslims all the time. And I've made it a goal, a priority in my life to call to Islam, to teach people about Islam. And one thing that has unfortunately been the case since before I even became Muslim is the fact that Islam is constantly being misrepresented.
Well, yeah, I would say that is mostly the fault of the Dawah apologists like yourself who deliberately speak with forked tongues on so many issues. So the aforementioned Kenny Boma in the debate was arguing from both positions. Number one, vehemently saying that no, this is not true. These hadiths that Aisha was a child, absolutely fabricated. But at the same time, it's okay if Muhammad did sleep with her at 9 years old anyway, because he's the prophet and she was actually 19 years old in body by the time she was 9 and the desert's hot and all this other crap. So any sense of not understanding Islam's message is mostly down to you guys. So let's hope you're going to clear it up for us.
It used to be primarily from what we would call the mainstream media, whether it be the news on television or in newspapers. But now, given the direction that society has gone, a lot of it now is on social media. And from what I've seen nowadays is that a major way that Muslims and non-Muslims interact is through debates, through online arguments and spectacles.
Well, you can talk about the efficacy of the debate kind of structure, whether it's useful or not, but I don't think a debate in itself is going to misrepresent Islam. If the people who are talking about the topic are knowledgeable, then the reality of these positions should come out, whether you think the debate structure is good or not.
And I think that this has unfortunately led to a misrepresentation to many non-Muslims regarding what Islam is truly about. Now, it can be difficult to make videos such as this because if a Muslim is going to come out and they're going to be critical of certain factions of their own community, then such factions being criticized will call them opportunistic backstabbing agents.
Yeah, but I don't really care about that. You're supposed to be clarifying this, so let's not do the poor you. You've got to talk badly, supposedly, or correct other Muslims on the fact that they're supposedly not representing Islam. How about you just get to the point and tell us, what does Islam really think on these issues?
But at the same time, if you don't clarify it, then Islam is misrepresented not only to non-Muslims, but to the Muslim audience. So it really does put us in between a rock and a hard place.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. If he's Daniel Haqiqatjou or Kenny Boma has misrepresented Islam, just tell us exactly how.
As the saying goes. However, I know many of you watching are intelligent people. Many of you very much appreciate such clarifications. So that being the case, I wanted to just mention a few things.
Yeah, well, you're about a quarter of the way through the video and you've not clarified a fucking thing. So can you get to it?
Firstly, I think we can contextualize the entire situation if we keep in mind the fact that nowadays our society just seems to be entertaining ourselves to death. Never.
Yeah, what has this got to do with clarifying their position on child marriage? I mean, how much of a preamble are you going to force on us before you get to the fucking point?
In the history of humanity, have people had the opportunity to sit there on their smartphones, on the internet, watching movies all day, having access to an endless amount of music and games and interacting on social media, posting.
Yeah, I don't think that we really care about all this. This video is not supposed to be a lamentation on how internet has affected culture. This is supposed to be you giving some actual information on supposedly the correct position of Islam on child marriage.
Content yourself. I mean, this is unprecedented, and it's something that only Allah knows how many of us are addicted to. So because we have become a society obsessed with entertainment, this of course has affected the way that religions such as Islam are presented to the people. And it's to the extent that sometimes the truth and what's right, what's actually beneficial, will be sacrificed for the sake of entertainment.
Yeah, for God's sake, are you going to get near the so-called truth in this fucking video?
And we will let our desires get the best of us because we want to be entertained. We want to watch this. And at the same time, fool ourselves into thinking that it's beneficial or that we are walking in the footsteps of the right. In the name of fighting for Islam, we find people having the most absurd, ridiculous debates. But such...
Well, how are they absurd, ridiculous debates? I mean, they're disturbing, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be had. This is a serious issue. We're talking about the fate and the welfare of potentially millions of children. So it's necessary, it's relevant to discuss these topics. Now, can you please, for the love of whatever God you believe in, get to the fucking point?
Debates garner the most people because it's seen as entertaining, and you're also tapping into not only your Muslim audience who are going to cheer you on, but you're also tapping into the non-Muslim audience and those who may be cheering against you. But for everyone watching, I would like to clearly state that Islam is not about intellectually owning opponents in debates and arguments. Islam is not about being as contrarian and unlikable as humanly possible.
Right, well, it doesn't matter about unlikability. We're talking about the actual things that have been said, not the personalities of the people. Please, will you address the issue?
In the name of being courageously unapologetic. But Islam is balanced. It's also not about acting like we all agree on everything. Nor is it about sacrificing the truth in hopes that everyone likes you. What Islam...
My God, you're halfway through your video and you've told us what Islam is not about. How about actually addressing the truth?
Islam is about is La ilaha illallah, which means there's nothing worthy of worship except Allah.
And what the hell does that have to do with child marriage?
Allah is a name referring to the Creator, the one who created all of us, the one who is the all-knowing, all-hearing, the one that has the most perfect attributes. He is completely unique and he is one. And what we try to do as Muslims is submit to and follow the guidance, the revelation that he sent us.
Oh, for God's sake. I mean, seriously, are you giving just like a basic 101 of what Islam is supposed to be? Yes, we know that you all worship Allah. Yes, we know you submit to him. Get to the child marriages.
A very important aspect of that guidance is having the best character. As Muslims...
Fuck your character. We don't care about character. Address the issue of the debates.
Interacting with non-Muslims in the name of da'wah, in the name of calling people to Islam and teaching them about Islam. It's incumbent upon us to represent this religion through having the best of character. And we should relay the reality of what Islam is about. It always has to come back to worshiping Allah alone, trying to learn about who Allah is, keeping in mind our...
Right, 2/3 of the way through your video, you said in the title of this video about the recent debates. This is supposed to be a message clearing up. 2/3 of the way through, you said absolutely nothing.
Purpose in life and the fact that Allah is going to resurrect us and we are going to be held accountable before him in the hereafter. Understanding that he sent prophets throughout time, and the last prophet he sent was the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And that the Quran is the final revelation that he sent to us and preserved for us that we may be guided by it.
Oh my Lord, stop preaching and just get to the fucking point.
These are the types of things that we Muslims should be inviting to and teaching. And once the true message of Islam has been conveyed, it's up to you to accept it or reject it.
Well, yeah, unless Muslims have got power and they want to impose Sharia, then your choices are to accept it, to be a dhimmi, or die.
If you reject it, then we say, for you is your religion, and for us is our religion.
Until we have enough power to control you or kill you.
We have not been sent to argue and debate with you all day, every day. But unfortunately, for quite some time now, this is what we find. And we find even amongst ourselves, Muslims debating each other for the sake of entertainment. Men and women sitting together, casually discussing topics that are really not a priority or relevant to the vast, vast majority of Muslims, if not all of the Muslims, watching these conversations play out.
Are you going to address the child marriages they were talking about, for goodness sake?
So to summarize and conclude this video, I would firstly encourage...
Wait a second, summarize and conclude? You haven't said anything in this. What is your position on child marriages? What is the Islamic position on child marriages? How has Islam been misrepresented in these debates? Can you please give an answer to that?
Urge anyone who is sincerely looking for truth to ask the Creator to guide you, because at the end of the day, nothing...
Yeah, well, they certainly aren't going to ask you, are they? I mean, I've never seen. I mean, this is supposed to be a message. What is the message in this? That you haven't got shit to say?
Nothing I say, nothing that anyone says in a debate, in a video, in an argument is ultimately going to guide you. It's the Creator who's going to guide you. And I'd also say, just keep in mind that these entertainers online are just that. They're entertainers. They're not the type of people who are necessarily really going to tell you about what Islam actually is.
Yeah, but you haven't told us about what Islam is. You're not entertaining. There's no information. This is just pointless.
They're not necessarily proper representations of what a Muslim should be. And for anyone who has had the message of Islam conveyed to you and you understand it and you reject it, you don't want to follow it, you don't want to believe in it, then it's not beneficial for us to go back and forth and back and forth.
No one cares about that. We want to know. You're here to tell us what the position is on Islam. Tell us how it's being misrepresented. We don't want any of this other gobbledygook.
And argue and debate. And I would encourage my Muslim brothers and sisters to also internalize that and to not fall into what we've seen become a sport, an entertaining spectacle of argumentation, which is not from our religion. For those of you who are really interested in learning about Islam,
yeah, don't come to you apparently.
Inshallah, I'm going to start releasing videos where I'm explaining from the ground up what Islam teaches, what Islam is, who the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was.
Yeah, so you're not actually addressing the issue of child marriage. You're claiming that those debates have misrepresented Islam, but you can't tell us how. So this is just bollocks.
So please subscribe and check back for such videos if you're interested. Allah knows best. Thank you for watching.
Interested in what? There's nothing here. And that's it. I mean, this is the end of the video, like 7 minutes or something of this important message to 80% of the world about Islam. And you told us absolutely nothing. And I know exactly why, because you want plausible deniability. If you come out and say, well, no, child marriage is wrong, blah, blah, you know, Daniel Haqiqatjou has been misrepresenting Islam, then you're going to be held to account by Muslims, by the Orthodox traditional Sunni community that believe that child marriage is okay. At the very least, it was okay for Muhammad. So you won't come out and say that. But at the same time, if somebody comes to you and says, well, you know, why aren't you criticizing child marriage? You can say, oh, well, look, in my video, I said it would be misrepresented. So I've kind of done it without actually saying it. So this is just bullshit. Daniel Haqiqatjou is actually more honest than this guy. I mean, at least you know where you stand with it. He just comes out and says, yes, you know, I believe in child marriage. This guy, does anyone know after this video what the hell his position is on anything? Absolutely not. Anyway, sorry, this was quite a sweary one, but I get annoyed with these characters that present themselves intellectual and then just say absolutely nothing. Anyways, hope everyone is having a good day. Hope you're going to enjoy the long weekend here, at least in the UK. We've got the bank holiday. So I will see you all in the next one.